This is my newest vehicular acquisition, and it is my new four-wheel drive car. I sold the Mazda Tribute that I paid $700 for, and after some time only having the BMW, I got my hands on this thing. So what is this? This is a 2002 Ford Explorer third generation. It's got the 4-litre single overhead cam V6, derived from the Cologne pushrod V6. As you can see, it's red, and I've named it Brick. Now, this four-wheel drive was in quite the disrepair when I first got my hands on it. It's actually quite a story. Hi, Editing Will here. I waffled on way too long about the story about how I got this car. Anyway, now I'm going to explain all of the work and parts that I had changed on the car to make it road legal again. And then I'm going to give you a tour of it and show you all of the modifications and stuff that I've added and stuff that I haven't, give you a tour of it. To his credit, this car was in a lot worse shape than he thought it was. It turned out that the motor was actually blown in it. These V6s are renowned for dropping their timing chains and eating their timing chain guides when you don't change the oil regularly. And the previous person who owned this car before him never changed the oil. So he bought this car with a blown motor and sourced another motor and actually swapped the motor in. So he completed the motor swap. It turns out the rego had run out, and the car was no longer road legal, and he parked it in his yard, and that's why this had no rear suspension in it, because he'd taken the rear wheel bearing. I have spent about probably $5,000 on this car, getting it back up to scuff and getting it roadworthy. No particular order. The things that I have replaced are the rear wheel bearing on this side. I got a second-hand one out of the wreckers. All 4 tyres have been replaced. I got these nice Kumho Marshall Road Venture AT51 all-terrain tyres with this semi-aggressive all-terrain tread. And these wheels aren't original to this car either. These wheels are off a second generation, or Series 2 Explorer. This is a Series 3 Explorer. I like the look of these wheels more, and I think they actually suit this car, which is why I am running them. I had to replace the shock absorbers and the front lower control arms, the front upper control arms, which, quick side note about that, I actually bought another Explorer. It was another V8 one. It was gold in colour, and I actually drove that car around because it still had rego on it. I actually drove it around for a month, and then the gearbox blew up. This was put on the back burner when I bought that car, and when the gearbox blew up, I realised that had all of good suspension parts in it. This had blown shocks, busted ball joints, like the rubbers had gone, and there was a few other little things as well, like sway bar mounts and stuff like that. And they were all good in that other car. Well, most of the stuff was good. The only thing I had to buy was sway bar mounts. All the other stuff in that car was good. I paid $1,200 for it. It was going to cost me more than that just to get the suspension for this car, so I decided to part that car out. And so now this car sits on pretty much all the suspension from that other car. It's both front and rear shocks, all 4 sway bar mounts, all 4 sway bar drop links. Being under the bonnet, this is the 4-litre single overhead cam V6. Under here, I had to replace the rocker cover gaskets because they were leaking. I had to replace the thermostat housing because it was leaking. To do the rocker cover gaskets, you have to remove the intake manifold, so all of those seals were replaced. I had to install this fan shroud because it was missing. And even though what I'm listing sounds like a lot, but also to some people it probably sounds like not a lot, it was a lot. It took me about, on and off, about a year. I also had to replace this mirror and the turn signal switch and these corner lights. And on and off, it took me a year to get this car in a roadworthy condition where it would pass the inspection. It's this Explorer, or Brick as I've nicknamed it, because it's a big red box. Once it was in good mechanical condition and it was registered and I could legally drive it around on the road, I started changing some things up. One of the very first things that I did was I installed this radio, and this radio came from the Mazda Tribute. It didn't have a radio in it when I first obtained this car. I did was install this roof rack with the side awning, and this roof rack isn't going to be staying. This is actually the roof rack and the exact side awning that I used to have on the Mazda Tribute. I don't even think it made an appearance on YouTube with this roof rack on it, but this roof rack was on it for the majority of the time I owned it. With this side awning, I have a tent that this side awning comes out, I think it's 3 meters, and then I have a tent that comes off it, like off the side of the car. It's actually a really cool setup. And then on top of this roof rack as well, there is a solar panel. On the Mazda, this was underneath, and it didn't work very well because the roof rack cast shadows onto it, so I moved it on top of the roof rack for the Explorer. However, it's loose and it rattles while I'm driving, and this roof rack doesn't go all the way to the front, and I want to put a roof tent on this car eventually, so this roof rack won't be staying. It's not a huge loss though, because I got it for free at the tip, and the new roof rack that I also got for free at the tip, so more on that when I do it. It was registered for a few weeks, and I had been driving it around for a few weeks. I installed this bull bar. I actually bought this way earlier on. I bought this last year to go on this car. The intent was always to put it on after it was roadworthy, and I drove it around for a few weeks without it, and then I installed it. Because where I live, as you can see, out in the countryside. I'm still in my hometown, but I'm sort of on the outskirts of it. And around here, kangaroos are a real problem. And I actually did end up hitting a kangaroo in the Mazda at one point. So I always wanted to put a bull bar like this on the Mazda, but no one ever made them. This bull bar did actually come off this exact model of car. I think it even still says it on the label. You might not be able to see too well, but it says Ford Explorer on there. So this just bolted straight up. The lights on it were busted when I got it, so I installed these Adventure Kings LED flush mount work lights or floodlights, or whatever you want to call them, in place of the fog lights. I just have these wired up to a switch. I was originally going to have them wired up with the spotties so that they come on when I put the high beam on, but right now they are connected to a switch. These lights are off an ARB bull bar. They were free from the tip. I am eventually going to get a proper light that fills out this hole, but these were free, and I don't want it to be roadworthy. These LED spotlights were on the front of the Mazda. As you can tell, a lot of this stuff I kept from the Mazda. I am not keeping them though. I'm going to be getting bigger ones. This aerial, this GME aerial, one of my friends gave to me. Put it on there. I'm eventually going to get a two-way radio, and this will actually be used for that. But right now, it just makes the front of this car look that little bit more country off-roady. To put gaffer tape along the top of the windscreen, and the reason for that is because it started raining the other day for the first time since I owned this car, and underneath that tape is a bit of rust, because that is probably the last lingering main issue with this car. Is the roof is rusty, and there's a big clump of rust right about here, and it started leaking through there and leaking inside on my steering wheel, so I had to put this tape on as a temporary measure just so that the roof would stop leaking. But what I am probably going to do, probably this week, is knock this rust back a bit, treat it and seal it with some tar paint, and I'll probably paint the whole roof with that tar paint, because I'm noticing now this is cracking. There's more rust up here. There's actually plastic bars there. Like I said, I've got a bigger roof rack to go on this as well that comes all the way forward. So yeah, inside it's still mostly stock. I plan to keep it that way. Keeping the grey interior. I actually prefer it, even though it's quite discoloured here, but that's because it was parked outside for 6 years. This steering wheel, I actually have a replacement steering wheel for it. This steering wheel is plastic. As you can see, it's sun damaged and it's coming apart. The new steering wheel that I have, it's out of one of these. It's leather. The Ford badge isn't peeling, and the steering wheel itself is actually leather wrapped, not plastic. I already showed you guys the new radio. Right here, ordinarily, this would be the ashtray. I don't smoke, so I didn't have any use for the ashtray. So I put this switch bank here. I specifically got this switch bank because it was the closest in size and dimensions that I could get to the factory ashtray here. I'm going to cover this up with something at some point. Most of these switches don't do anything right now. This one here is for the LED spotties, so that they come on. You probably won't be able to see. Oh, you can a little bit. They come on when I flick the high beams on. If I turn that switch off, you can't really see them. The factory halogen high beams will be coming on, but the spotties you can see in the bush. This switch right here, I'm going to move to here, but this switch right here does the two LED lights on the bull bar, as you can see. They are coming off. I have an auxiliary battery in the boot, which is what they are being powered by, so I can have those on for an indefinite amount of time until the battery goes flat. If I turn my headlights on, the car starts screaming at me, and I'll turn my high beams on as well so you can see the spotties. The spotties, the LED spotties are coming off the main battery on the car, but there you go, that's how bright they are. One of the other things that I did was I connected the US side markers. Australian Spec Explorers don't have this enabled from the factory. The pin is there, but there's no wire going to it. So I ran a wire from the pin to the small parking light here. So these glow orange dimly all the time. And then when you turn on the indicator, they flash as the indicator. They're actually a dual filament amber lamp. I don't know how well you can see that. And there is the ARB bull bar lights working on the front there, with the again, daytime running lights as a portion of that. They're again coming off that little globe. I do eventually want to have that so that when you open the door and the interior lights come on, these lights also come on, and the lights under the mirror, because that's one nice thing about these Explorers, they actually have little lights under the mirror as well. Now that I've mentioned everything that I have changed about this interior and everything that I intend to change on the front, there is obviously more, but we'll do an interior tour. This is the front, obviously. Don't know why I said that. This is where I keep my sunglasses. They usually fall off and go down into the footwell. I already mentioned the switch panel. Right here are the two massive cup holders. You can fit a massive drink in these. Right now, my wallet and a Clips Mints. But because this is an American car, obviously Americans like their large portions of food. So the cup holders are massive, which is nice. This center console, though, I don't like. This lid, well, this entire center console really is not a very efficient use of space. So I do eventually want to cut it off about there and make a new one out of wood, or use this fridge as a center console. This is a like a 12-volt fridge. Or it's at 32 degrees right now because it's not been on, but I'd like to make that the center console. But to do that, I need to relocate this handbrake, or, you know, remove it somehow. So I haven't done that yet because it's going to be quite the task. I'm either going to make this handbrake or parking brake a foot actuated parking brake, like some American cars have. Like my mum has a Jeep Grand Cherokee that has that. So I'd like to either move that down there or make it an electric handbrake with a button, which you can do. So once I figure out a way to do that, this entire center console will be going, that fridge will be going there, and then I'll put some cup holders on the side here. The other thing that I want to get is a two-way radio somewhere in here. Obviously that antenna needs to be able to do something. Up here I have a dash cam. This is a Navman Mini View 600. It's a front and rear camera, except I only have the front installed at the moment because I can't find the cable that goes to the back camera, or the back camera itself. That went missing because this camera was previously in the Mazda, and since I was without the Mazda for some time and I'm not exactly the most organized person, the parts for that camera went missing. Same thing with up here, there's that lead right there. I normally have a heads-up display that was in the Mazda, don't know where that is. This is my phone holder. It's a PowerTech phone holder from Jaycar. It has wireless charging and it's really solid. I know it doesn't look it when I do that, but it is a really solid phone holder, a very good phone holder. I recommend them. We'll move on to the back seat now. The thing that I did was I painted this trim because it was like gone all grey and white and ugly when I first got the car. And so I mastered up, painted it this matte black paint. Looks really good. Moving on into the back seat right now. One other thing that I just remembered that I should mention. The door speakers aren't factory. I've installed Kicker door speakers in all the doors. In the back seats, nothing has really changed, like as far as modifications go. There's normally a cigarette lighter port here from the factory. I removed that and installed this USB charger port, so that when I have friends in, they can charge their phones. I keep phone charging cables in the glove box as well. Obviously that small fridge pretty much lives there unless I've got people in the car, in which case it gets put in the boot, but eventually I'd like to make it the center console. Right here I have my JBL speaker, which is nice, really good speaker. I recommend this. I think it's called Party Core Essential, something or other. It sounds really nice. There you go. It sounds really nice. I also have one of these window shades. I don't normally like these foil style window shades, but that one came with the car as well as the one that I have in the back window. Right there, as you can see. More on that in a minute. But that gets put up there when I park the car on the street, which it's parked on the street most of the time. I also have these fans here that I've never used, but they're there if I want to use them. One of the big differences with this car is that I actually had the air conditioning fixed. The Mazda, the air conditioning died and I never got it fixed because it was going to cost too much. This one, the gas had just leaked out, so I had bought stop leak, put stop leak in it, and had my friend who's a refrigerant guy regas it for me. The rear of Brick, the Explorer, we obviously have the Explorer badge. It is an XLT, I don't know if I mentioned that. It's an XLT 5-seater, grey interior V6. So it's kind of a base spec one, but I honestly prefer a V6. Honestly like the sound of a V6, and I definitely, you know, any day give me a V8, but V6, more on this in a second, but the V6 sounds nice and it gets better fuel economy, and it's about as quick as the V8 and the Explorer anyway, because this is such a non-aerodynamic car. I have a master sticker here. I put this here as a joke and it's sort of just stayed. The glass opens up separately, which I will show you, but it means that that blind is going to fall down. As you can see, I'm going to go ahead and close this now before the blind falls down. Hopefully it stays there. There we go, sort of. And then the whole boot opens up like this. The struts are kind of gone as well. You have to like push it up all the way. There we go. On the roof, as I mentioned before, is a solar panel. That cabling comes down into here. And I have this. This is an Adventure Kings control box. It's sort of, as you can see, not installed properly. I haven't mounted it yet because I haven't figured out a good way to do so. I don't really want to drill into the car, but I think I'm going to have to. I have a 25 amp DC-DC charger, obviously the solar input and the alternator input coming from the car. All of the ports on here, none of these switches are being used yet, and none of these Anderson plugs are being used yet either. This is the tent that goes off the side of the awning, so pull this out of the way. And back there you can see that is my auxiliary battery plugged into it. I believe that is the all that connection there goes to the front for all the accessories on that switch panel on the front, like the fog lights and stuff like that. All that is from there. This connection, I believe, goes to my inverter. This plug right here goes to my Adventure Kings fridge. This is an Adventure Kings Escape 40 fridge. I don't have it running at the moment, but when I go away or when I'm sort of using this car, it runs. At the moment, I just have water in there, I think, as you can see, but leave that open. And it's got the insulated cover. These drawers are the Titan drawers and from 4Drive Supercenter or Adventure Kings. We have my camping chair, which is an Austrail camping chair. In here, I have a bunch of not so campy stuff. This is more adventure stuff. I have a towel because you never know when you're going to need a towel. This is mostly ratchet straps, tie down straps, fasty straps, tow rope. This is a battery powered floodlight for when I'm camping. These are air pumps for an air mattress. There's 2 of them because I lost one, so I bought another one and then I found it. Roll of gaffer tape, roll of double-sided tape, Flamingo contact cleaner. I don't remember why this is in here, but it is. Also, I have these 2 floodlights that I got for free from work. They are 240 volt, but like I already mentioned, I have an inverter on board, which I'll show you in a second. First aid kit, AeroGuard, more tie-down straps, and an air hose with an air tyre inflator, because I have an air compressor as well. I'll show you all of that in a second. Go ahead and pack this all up. So that's this drawer. I'll put this drawer. In this drawer, if I open it up, as you can see, there is a big piece of metal. Now what this is, if I just get this drawer so that it stays open. I haven't put the stops in the drawers yet, so I've got to be careful, but if I lift this out, I can't do this with one hand easily, so I'm just going to do it and show you. It's onto the front of the drawer there, and then you get a nice table that's also very dusty. But this is great for camping. I had this entire setup, except for that fridge, in the back of the Mazda, I should mention. Don't think I ever even showed it. But it's in this car now, and this car I'm keeping for a long time. The Mazda was never going to be a long time keep car. Inside this drawer is more camping stuff. That's why I keep that table on top of it, because I'm not reaching for this sort of stuff every day. This bag is full of plates, bowls, knives, forks, spoons, cups, eating sort of stuff. Bathers. This is a Rashi. This is a pair of track pants, because I always wear track pants. This is a wall for the awning that I've never used. This is a kettle, like a stove kettle. I have a gas cooktop stove, except it's not in here right now. It will live there. Frying pan, again for the stove. And that's all that's in that drawer. I'm going to go ahead and put this all back together. Down this side here is this extension lead. It's a 10 meter long extension lead. I pull this out. Normally I plug one of those floodlights into it and hang it up somewhere, or if I ever need to run something that's 3-pin plug in, I can only run up to 500 watts though, because I have the smallest inverter that they make. I will eventually get a bigger one. And then down here as well, there's just some rubbish and cloths and other stuff that's ended up falling down there that I haven't cleaned out yet. Moving on, we'll close this up. Moving on to this side of the back, there is that foil sunshade that I was talking about, the fridge, the JBL speaker. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this and I'm going to pull this seat back, if I can remember how to. It's this lever here. Behind here, this is my air compressor. It's not connected in, it's just sitting here. It will eventually be connected in, but normally I can just take this right now. I can just take this out, set it on the bull bar, connect the leads to the battery right here, and then I connect that hose to it and I can do my tire pressures. That blue box right there is my inverter. You can see there's a plug, because there's a plug, there's the lead that runs down to it. This is that long lead, but underneath the seats here, I'll show you, right down in there, can't really see, there's a power board, and that's basically what the inverter's plugged into. So anything I want to plug into the inverter, I just plug into that. The black plug there is the charger for the JBL, and the white plug is that extension lead that I was showing you. And then back there, there's a better look at my battery box. There's a, I think it's 120 amp hour AGM lead acid battery in there at the moment. I will eventually switch to lithium, but I'm not going to yet because it's expensive. So that's everything in there. There's one last little modification, and I kind of alluded to it before, and that's this exhaust. This car does not have its standard exhaust on it. It did when I got it, and that V8 Explorer that I bought that I was talking about, the one that blew the gearbox and has all the suspension parts in this car, that had a 3-inch catback exhaust on it. And one fun thing about Explorers, the difference between the V8 versions and the V6 versions are just that. The V8s have a V8, the V6s have a V6. Everything else is the same, including the transmission, the drivetrain, tyre sizes, the body, and the exhaust. Now, this exhaust was custom made for an Explorer. It just bolts in. So my friend and I, who I got the car from, who's a nuts on Explorers, he helped me. Right now it's being held in place with a cable tie, but he helped me remove the factory exhaust and install the catback exhaust. So this car actually has no mufflers on it. So ordinarily there would be a massive muffler right here, but there isn't. There's just a straight piece of 3-inch pipe. That's where the exhaust starts. That's the last catalytic converter. And it's just a straight pipe up over the rear suspension and out the back. So when I start this car up, it makes quite a nice noise, especially because it's a V6. And I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a bit of a sound demo of it now. Now, because I am a complete numpty, I forgot to bring a camera stand, so the camera is currently leaning up against a tree. What you can see, and all that matters is that you can hear. This is also the second time I'm filming this because it fell over the first time. It shouldn't fall over this time. I'm going to go ahead and start the car, and you'll hear how loud this exhaust sounds and how nice it sounds. Now there is a slight rattle because the rear section of the exhaust is currently being held up with a cable tie. If I do this, the rattle sort of subsides. Stick jammed up in the front wheel. I have both front windows down, and I'm going to give it a nice pull coming onto this road here once I get off the gravel. The biggest issue that it has is that despite me replacing the rocker cover gaskets, it still leaks oil, and it actually leaks oil onto the exhaust manifold, which is why I have the air conditioning on recirculation most of the time. It sounds so good though. Fun quirk about it is that on this side, as you can see, there's no stalk. The wipers, the indicators and everything are on the stalk on the left hand side there. You move it down and up for indicators, you twist it for wipers, pull it like this for the high beam flash, and then you push it forward and then there's an extra twist there for the rear wiper that I never use. Quickly I can reach this Prado. That's not fair, he's speeding. Hill. I really like this car. I think I'm going to keep it for a long time. I love the sound of a 6, they're just so smooth. And on golden hour. There is a slight engine noise there. I think it's the belt tensioner, because it hasn't been replaced. Got to mention before, right now it currently has 311,822,000 kilometers on it. That's about 193,000 miles for the people where this car came from, America or Canada. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. There will be more videos to come, I promise. More on fans and more on this car, more on everything really. Planning on going up to Perth again soon, so there might be a few more train videos with James. Thanks for watching, see you next time.